Hi guys, it's Parkera here, and I just want to have a quick, well, semi-quick special, if you like, on detailing of the basic New Zealand pyramid of football leagues. Okay, so here in front of you now, you'll see this is in-game FM though. But generally it's the right setup, just a basic setup and how it runs down. Now we'll just have a look at here the New Zealand Premiership. I'm not going to worry about sponsorship names and stuff, okay? So New Zealand Premiership is a 10-club franchise-only competition. So very much like the Australian A-League and the MLS. There is no relegations. You can't go into it unless you're appointed, if you like. Basically, it's simple as that. It's kind of split into two sections. You've got the main section, which is your league, and then at the end of the regular season, it goes into your playoffs. So again, very much like MLS and the A-League. So the top 4 teams at the end of the regular season go into the playoffs. The playoffs are run as a home and away semi-final series, and the winners progressing to a one-off grand final match to crown the champions. Okay. It's a summer competition, so it runs primarily from October to March in New Zealand. And this competition provides New Zealand's 2 representatives to the Oceania Champions League, which is usually the season champion, so the one at the end of the season, and the winner of the playoffs. Pretty straightforward. There's also a charity cup that's played for this league, and that's basically the winner of the grand final versus the best performing New Zealand team in the Champions League. That's just a little minor thing there for you. So we'll just have a look in game here for this. So this is the breakdown here. As you can see, the teams here. Now this is in game 2017, and the so basically what it is, it's 9 New Zealand-based teams, okay, and generally they're represented in clubs that play in the winter leagues, and they've just had a franchise as well. And then the Wellington Phoenix, which is really, I would say, and a lot of Kiwis would probably consider the only and full-on professional team in New Zealand who play in the A-League. They have their reserves who are also in this competition. So that makes up your 10 teams. So that's, I think it's pretty straightforward. I'm not going to go into the rules and bits and bobs because we're not going to be playing in that competition. Right, so next we have the regional leagues, or the winter leagues if you like, and these are divided into 4 regional, as you'll see as I'm unclicking them here, 4 regional leagues. So they are the New Zealand NRFL, which is National Regional Football League, the New Zealand Central League, New Zealand Mainland League, and the New Zealand South League. Okay, so they're the top tiers. Okay, so we'll just break each one down as we go to the best I can and just give you an overview here. So if we look at the New Zealand NRFL Premier Division, okay, you will see it also encompasses Division 1 here. I'm going to bring that up here. So the Premier Division is a 12-club competition. Now, before we go into further detail, the NRFL Federation, and we'll call it that, consists of teams from Northland, West Auckland, Auckland, and Waikato Bay of Plenty regions in New Zealand. That's what makes up that. So basically the Northern Federation. So in the Premier Division, it's 12 clubs. Straight easy. 2 clubs get relegated into the First Division. Nice and simple. So we'll have a quick nosy at the Premier Division, and you'll see here. So there's 1 champion. There's no promotion here. Okay, this is the top as you can go in the regionals, and there is 1 relegation. As you will see here also, we have the NRFL Division 1. Okay, so this is a 12-team competition. Again, very similar. 2 teams are relegated and 2 teams are promoted. Now, as you'll notice, and you may have noticed when I clicked into the first Premier League, in this database, in FM database, they only have 1 team that's relegated. And this competition, this region, 2 teams are relegated. Okay, so luckily for some, it's not put into the game. Again, another issue of the database. but I'm learning to get over those fast. What's not represented here is the second division. So, I mean, I think it's very clear. 2 relegated into Division 1, 2 relegated into Division 2, and then further down into more regional leagues. Okay. So that's those, and that's a pretty straightforward sort of federation, really, in comparison to the next one I'll bring up. So the next one is the New Zealand Central League. Now they run basically these two that I'm highlighting here, which is the Central Federation Premier League and the Capital Premier League. Now the Central League is a 10-club competition. Okay, 1 team is relegated. Okay, nice and easy. Does 1 team come up? Well, yes, but not so simple. Now, what happens here? The winner of the Central Premier faces the winner of the Capital Premier in a home and away playoff leg. Okay, and away goal rules apply. So the winners of that playoff will then get promoted into the Central League, and the relegated team will then go into the more, I guess, regional division that applies for where they are. Very similar to how it goes from, I guess, the conference to the North-South Conference leagues in England. Now, the Central Federation team has 8 teams. The winner goes into the playoff promotion, as I said, and the Premier has 10 teams, and the winner again goes into that promotion. The Capital Premier League also has lower leagues below it, Division 1 and down, and just they all get lost within the shuffle, really. Okay. We then go into 2 of the South Island teams, divisions. We've got the Mainland Premier League, and in this game it's represented as well with Mainland Division 1. So the Mainland Premier League is primarily for clubs located in the northern half of the South Island, so mid-Canterbury up. 8 teams play each other. Okay, over 3 times. However, this is broken down further. 1 team is relegated into Division 1. Okay. Now, with regarding the structure here for the Northern Premier. Okay. So basically, teams play each other home and away, plain and simple. Okay. And then what happens is, now this is probably not added into the game, but in reality, then what happens for the remaining rounds? The league is split into 2 groups, Group A, Group B. Okay, each team will play each other once within that group, and the top 2 teams, so the top team from each group, will then play off to determine the winner. Okay, and then the other teams will kind of play off against each other to kind of determine a final positioning. It's quite complicated. Okay. And the Mainland Division 1 winner promoted into the Premier League and relegated straight down. Okay. Now there's also I'll touch on this after. Now we have here, and it's not represented in the game. So we also have, there's further divisions that goes right into Canterbury divisions, local divisions, the same to all of these. Now New Zealand Football South Premier League, as it's called in the game, okay, or as basically your lower South Island teams, Queenstown, Otago, Southland, bottom half of South Island, basically. It's simple as dimples, really. It's 9 teams, okay, and relegation, and then relegation. Okay, there's no promotion from the South Premier. It's just that. However, there is a playoff with the Mainland Premier League team. So there is the winner of the South Premier League faces the winner of the Mainland Premier League. Okay, for the South Island Championship. So it's basically just, I guess, a cup to crown the best team in the South Island. That's right at the end of the season. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, a lot of things I've mentioned there are different and will show different in game. Because, of course, it's Football Manager. The database is as simple as it can be from Football Manager database, because, in my opinion, they don't really care about Oceania. And those people who spend a lot of time creating databases
You know, they do deserve a lot of credit, and sometimes they just, I mean, I'm a bit fussy. I try and lock into it, and I was doing a little bit more tonight, and it's just kind of, even I was like, holy hell, our structure's nuts. But at the base of it, the main pyramid is pretty straightforward, I feel. Okay, so that's it really. So no one can go into this competition here unless they're by invite, so it's a franchise only. Or they expand, which they have done recently, which is, I guess, hopefully that's going to happen further. These are then you've got the main divisions, federations here, okay, represented by these, and then it goes further down. Down, many divisions like everywhere else in the world. So that's it. We will be playing in this division here this season, North Shore United. We're in the New Zealand National Regional Football League Division 1, sponsored by Lotto. So they're called the New Zealand Lotto Italiano NRFL Division 1 for sponsorship reasons. I'm going to just touch on a couple of other things here. So we're going to go with the New Zealand Charity Cup, which I mentioned here. Now, it's a playoff between the winners of the grand final in the Premiership and the best placed team, New Zealand team, in the OFC Champions League. Just if the same team is either or, so the same team which has happened before, won the Premiership and also was best placed in the Champions League, then the runners-up of the league will face off. Again, we won't really touch much on this because it's not going to be something that we will attack yet. But we will go down to the good old-fashioned Chatham Cup. This is the oldest competition in New Zealand football, probably in New Zealand sport. Created in 1923 off the top of my head. It's basically straightforward. It's the FA Cup of New Zealand. Okay, and it's a simple as that. You can't get any more simple. It's run from the beginning prelim rounds in April, and it goes all the way to October when you have your final. And you can see there in the drop down, pretty straightforward. Okay, and it ends up in the final in September. A lot of times you'll see in the Prem rounds and the earlier rounds some teams, like even some schoolboy teams. I say schoolboy teams, but teams. So yeah, I mean, that's the stages. It's a simple, straight knockoff competition, and it's got a lot of prestige about it in New Zealand football. North Shore United, like I mentioned before, have got the record for the most appearances. And if we go to the history of it, past winners, I don't know how far this database. Okay, so this database, goes down straight through to there. That's not bad at all, actually. Records, obviously, I don't think it will show. Most time winners, Uni Mount Wellington. Yeah, I don't really need to explain this because I'll let you have a nosy at this if you want. Like most things, FM, the history's kind of, at times, doesn't show everything. But I feel that this shows a fair average amount fairly recently, I guess. Past winners, yep, we've already had a nosy of that. So that's where I will leave it now, guys. I don't think we need to go any further than that, and we can just continue on where we left it, I guess. What am I doing? I don't know. I'm trying to find this page, New Zealand. Here we go. So yeah, so that's it. And thank you for this. Hopefully it's not too long. Hopefully it clears some things up, or maybe it's just a bit of interest for you. I'll tell you what, just myself researching this, I found some interesting bits and bobs, especially in the other leagues, the South Island leagues, or federations I'll call them, and even the Central Federation. The Northern Federation, NRFL, pretty straightforward, which is good. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for joining me. I hope you like this. I want to just shout out thank you to the new subscribers to the channel and all the feedback that this series so far has generated. It's really helpful and it's really great. So
ding-a-ling-ding there, that bell to get your notifications. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and as always, comment down below. What did you like? What we can improve? What do you want? Just things like that. And we will see you next time. I am Pakira, over and out.